Good evening, everyone. It is 6:31 p.m. Notice is hereby given that a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks, Texas will be held on Thursday, October 14th, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. at 22870 Priest Road, Sandy Oaks, Texas. All agenda items are subject to action. The City of Sandy Oaks will also provide a live stream video and telephonic access of the meeting through the link provided on the agenda. The public will be permitted to offer public comments in person, telephonically, or by video as provided by the agenda and as permitted by the presiding officer during the meeting by signing up with the city secretary at least 15 minutes in advance of the meeting. If providing comments in person and at least 2 hours in advance of the meeting by emailing cityclerk@cityofsandyoaks.com or by calling 607-0834 if speaking telephonically or by video. Written comments may be submitted up to 2 hours before the meeting and will be provided to the City Council for their consideration. A recording of the telephonic meeting will be made and will be available to the public in accordance with the Texas Public Information Act upon request. Item 1, Ms. Rabe, can we get a quorum call, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Fillinger,
Here.
Alderman Bricken,
Here.
Alderman Rapino,
Here.
Alderman Crickmer,
Here.
Alderwoman Puente. Here. There's a quorum present, Mayor.
Okay. Who is RL?
Oh, him.
Oh. And who's
Oh, then
OOD?
there was gonna be officer of the day, but then I thought he would. he's here,
Officer of the
then-
day.
Well, if there was gonna be an officer here,
Well, he is one.
that's what I mean. Yeah, so he's.
Okay, let's stand for Pledge of Allegiance, please. Hold on, somebody else wants it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, item 3, citizens to be heard. Did we?
No one signed it.
No one signed up. Okay, we'll move on to the second number 3. That was a typo. Mayoral announcements and updates. The first one is the Via Link promotional video. If you're not aware, Alderwoman Puente and I worked with Via, and they created a little promo video that is posted on the city website. And it is to help residents understand kind of how the system works. So if you haven't viewed it, you can watch it.
Any seasonings on it? The chicken, or just heat it up?
Wait, who's got a phone? No, I need the volume up on that. I need whoever's phone is on to turn it off, please.
The bottom one.
Yeah.
That one. Let me mute him. I can't even see. Where's mute?
I don't think he even has audio on. He's trying to connect to the audio.
There's not a mute.
There's not a
You have to
mute.
remove.
Weird. Okay. Item number 2 is trunk or treat. Again, this year, Mr. Gibbs has been gracious to allow us to have the trunk or treat at the shops at Sandy Oaks. Again, this year, that will be on Halloween, which is a Sunday this year. And set up, everything starts around 6 o'clock. And then it goes until we're out of candy or nobody else shows up. And usually we run out of candy before everybody doesn't show up. And everyone's welcome to join, bring candy, decorate your car, hand out candy, dress in costume. It's a lot of fun. The third one is the CPS and SAWS. They're going to be bringing their customer service representatives to City Hall to work with residents to prevent disconnections. So that is one of the primary reasons for the ARPA funding that we have received. And knowing that the moratorium has been lifted on disconnects, I have been in contact with both CPS and SAWS. We are currently working to schedule some time, and it looks like we're going to try to do, I don't have the dates yet, but a Tuesday, Thursday and a Saturday. And I'm trying to convince them to come down to the park community yard sale either this month or next month, depending. I will tell you that I have received information from CPS. Of course, CPS and SAWS, neither one will provide me specific account details, which I don't need. But in Sandy Oaks, from a CPS perspective, there are 229 households out here that have past due balances and are risking disconnect. And the total of those monies is over $300,000. So that's a big, big chunk of what we have received. However, CPS has funding to help with assisting for utilities. Bear County has funding, we have funding. So right now, the intent is to have the individuals come in, meet with the representatives from SAWS and CPS, work out whatever payment arrangements they can. Then from there, we would come back to council and determine how much we want to contribute towards that effort. So that'll be a future discussion. The last thing I wanted to add has to do with voting. This one's going to be real challenging for everyone. So we know there's a special election to select our state representative for District 118. That was a special election called by Governor Abbott. Bear County is running an election, a normal election on November 2nd. These are being treated as two separate elections. Even though they will both be here, you have to vote twice. You have to come in and vote on one and go get in line and come in and vote on the other. Not a big deal, not a really big deal. Where it really matters is in early voting. You cannot early vote for your 118 representative anywhere but in the district. So if you work on the northwest side, it's not going to be on your ballot. And again, you have to do it twice. Everywhere you go, you have to do it twice.
And if you already have a mail ballot, I have to come in and vote here because I didn't get a ballot that has the early,
Yes, so those who have received early ballots, this is a challenge. If you do not receive your early ballot and before the election, and you want to come in and vote because you didn't receive your ballot, they're going to let you vote, but they're going to consider that a provisional ballot because in their mind, they have already mailed you a ballot, even though you didn't receive it. There's supposed to be a separate ballot for the Senate. I mean, not for the Senate, for the District 118.
and they're going to send that
They're
out.
supposed to be mailing those out as well.
I didn't get it.
Well, it's our normal November election. If we had had candidates running, then we would have candidates on the ballot. But right now, it's a constitutional amendment. It's really the basis of this big election that is going to impact us.
Yeah, and we also, I think we have some Southside school issues.
Maybe,
Yeah,
yeah.
That's November 4th.
November 2nd
Second.
is the election. So on election day, no early voting here. Election day is here. So you can come here and do it. Early voting, you can go do everything except the District 118 and then come here on election day and do 118, however you want to do it. But just know that they are separate, and early voting outside of our district will not, you won't get to vote for your representative. Okay, so that's the end of that. Okay, item number 4, financial budget report. The income and expenses will be reported by City Secretary Charlotte Ray with possible discussion and or action.
The beginning balance was $141,404.04. Checks and payments of $73,263.32. Deposits and credits of $33,876.16, leaving us with a balance of $102,016.88.
And do you know on, and Catherine's not here, do you happen to know on the deposit side of it, is that the net deposit for the general fund, or is there still some bond money deposits showing up in those numbers?
No, I think it's just for the,
Okay,
So I move that we accept the budget report as presented.
I'll second.
okay, we have a motion by Alderman Rapino and a second by Alderman Crickmer to accept the income and expense report as presented. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, that was unanimous. Let's move on to item 5, consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered routine by the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. We have 3 items on here. Item A is to approve the minutes from the September 23rd, 2021 regular City Council meeting. Item B, approve September 2021 city attorney invoice number 1284, not to exceed $6,105. Item C, approve resolution 2021-139, approving the official newspaper for fiscal year 2021 through 2022, and until another newspaper is selected, and authorize mayor to approve contract with selected newspaper.
I'm gonna make a motion that we accept the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Crickmer and a second by Alderman Rapino to accept the consent agenda as presented. Did I say something wrong?
No, ma'am.
Okay, because I was multitasking. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Unopposed? Okay, that is unanimous. Charlotte, would you pass that to Charlotte, please?
Sure.
Okay, item number 6, quarterly report. Received brief from Alderman Rapino on the quarterly investment report with possible discussion and/or action.
Okay, the quarterly report, and of course, we already saw what the checking account was, $102,000 and $16.18 as of the end of the 9/30/21. And the text pool account, which there has been some discussion about because we have been receiving such dwindling amounts of interest. Thank God we're not losing any money,
That's
but we do want to maintain our liquidity with our investment. And so there are ways that we could probably earn more if we went into CDs, but of course we would then lose our liquidity. And of course we are sort of steered into very secure investments. So we have to be careful if we did go out of text pool in what we could invest in.
Mhm.
So our beginning as of 7/1/21 was the beginning amount was $127,670.37, and the ending amount was $127,677.75, with a net earning of $7.38 of interest. And the reason is the Fed is why the interest rate is so meager, and hopefully that'll change in the future. I don't know with the way they're printing money, but hopefully that will get us some better returns on our money. But as I said, we're not losing any money.
Not losing is the right answer.
Do we know what the Texas Local Government Investment Pool invest in?
We could get that I can get a report on the investments. They like every other investment, they switch they change from day to day what they invest in. They try and look for the best within the limited amount or the limited investments they can put their money in according to what the state wants them to utilize.
Okay, is there any other state approved programs that we can look at?
Yeah, you can go into CDs or
The challenge is the liquidity.
Yeah.
liquidity, yeah.
We
Yeah.
started out really, really good. And I did a graph that I sent to, I think, John, and because you two are the investment and co-investment.
Yes.
Kind of from the beginning, our first interest payment was like $255.
Yeah.
Now we're about $1.25. I mean, it has
Yeah.
really, but again, we're not losing money. We're just not gaining.
I mean, the possibility is always that we could lose money too.
Wow.
But we don't, I don't want that to happen, but
Mm-mm.
that possibility is there with every investment,
But of course,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think they invest in T-bills and
Yeah,
Government
mainly T-bills and bonds and, but
interest rates are gonna pick up because inflation's pretty good and they're gonna wanna slow down the economy.
Well, we'll keep an eye on it, but
yeah.
it's just been very flat for over a year now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
okay, I have no more questions.
okay. Well, with that, would someone like to make a motion then?
Yeah, I move we accept the quarterly investment report.
I'll second, oh, go ahead, Jennifer.
So we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Fillinger and a second by Alderwoman Puente to accept the investment report as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that is unanimous. Before we move on to administration, I want to go over to item 8, police. Item A, updates and announcements by Chief Lopez with possible discussion and or action. And these are just general announcements, sir. Did you have any?
No.
Okay, well then we will move on to item B, National Night Out update. I put this on the agenda so that Chief Lopez could kind of give us some feedback on how that went and what we might do different or not change or whatever.
I think it was a good turnout. A bunch of people, citizens went, interacted with the community. And then the fire department came out as well. Bear County showed up as well, interacted, served food as well. I think to make things better, I think hopefully next year we can get a dunk tank.
Oh, yeah.
That would, we can put the mayor on there first.
No, you're first.
We could raise some money.
Yeah, we could do a fundraiser with that.
Most definitely. I think the kids will definitely enjoy that, along with the adults as well.
Some of the adults.
Yeah, that's what I had talked to Chief Pena from Amador. And he had that over there. So I think that would be definitely bring more fun to the event as well. So, I mean, it's always a good turnout to, interact with citizens and everybody coming and things like that. So it was a good turnout.
Yeah. And Via was there as well. They set up a table and we're talking with people about the Via link.
Crime report.
Okay, let's move to item C, presentation of monthly report by Chief Lopez with possible discussion and or action. And I don't know, do I have a
Yeah,
copy of that?
I saw it.
Things, oh, because I skipped around, that's why. There it is. Okay, I'm gonna pull both those out. I'm gonna talk about them. Okay, sir, go ahead.
For the month of September, for the court defendants that we had was 144. And then cases, 247. Obviously, anytime, as the department continues to grow and add more officers, more traffic stops and citations and warnings and things are going or adding up as well. So as traffic stops for the month of September, if you look at, we had 173 stops. And then citations issued was 174 and 80 warnings as well. If you look to the right for the total, you'll see it gives you a total of, how many traffic stops were conducted from, January till October, along with citations and warnings, gives you an overview of that. So, and then we had 2 arrests for the month of September. Those 2 arrests were one was a county warrant and also was an arrest for an aggravated sexual assault of a child and indecency with a child here in the city. That individual was a resident as well. So calls for service, we had 13 calls for service for 911 hangups and go down.
Wow.
We also had 1 possession of drug paraphernalia ticket citation for there. We'll move down. We had 1 city ordinance violation for loose dog. Go back down to civil matters, 3 calls for service for civil matters, 2 disturbances. Skirt down a little bit to EMS assist. We had 7 calls for that as well. 1 information report, 2 damaged properties, calls for service, 1 theft call for service as well. 2 agency assist, 1 shots fired, 4 threat calls for service. And then we had, I believe, 1 assault. And then 1 criminal mischief a little bit down and 4 animal calls for service. And if we go down next page for 2 vehicles were covered in the city as well. And then we also had 1 DOA in the city. Move down, we had 1 vehicle crash, 1 illegal dumping that resulted into an arrest for that warrant. And then we had 1 credit card abuse.
2.
I'm sorry, 2 credit card abuses and then 1 fire structure grass. And as I said, 2 arrests, 2 cases for sexual abuse of a child and 2 calls for service of runaway and 2 alarms as well.
I have a question about the aggravated sexual assault of a child. Was this person a registered sex offender already, or,
No, they were, this individual has not, so they're still,
but they probably will be?
A conviction would
Yeah,
result in that, yes.
so, I mean, I'd like to thank our city attorneys for helping me with that as well. They did an amazing job. Like I said, to execute and serve those 2 felony warrants. So, thank you.
Something new all the time around here. Yeah. Okay, we'll move on to item D. And thank you, Chief Lopez, for the report and the hard work that you and your team are doing out there.
Thank you, City Council. Appreciate that.
Item 8D, discuss and or consider posting job advertisement positions for 3 reserve officers. So it's time, folks.
Can I ask a question about that?
About reserve officers?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If we had an application, they don't get paid, right?
They do not get paid.
Okay. Do we have to furnish uniforms,
Yes.
guns,
No,
equipment?
no,
Okay, they have that
they do. They have to bring all their own gear. We provide the uniforms in the vehicle.
in the vehicle.
Yeah, we'll do sharing of vehicles.
And a badge.
You get a badge?
Yeah.
Oh,
Do we need
man.
more vehicles to do this?
Vehicles are a challenge right now. The entire automotive industry,
Well, that's true, but the question was, do we need them?
we always need them. I've got one that we need to replace right now, and I'd like to add another, but neither one of those are options at the moment.
Can we buy those with the funding money?
No.
Okay.
The Biden bucks? The Biden bucks?
Yeah.
No, we
Get
can't do
better
that.
money. So we'd have to buy the car.
Yes, and just so you know, Chief Lopez and I did go visit Bear County Fleet last month, I guess it was,
This one.
just to get a feel for what they have, and everyone's faced with the same issue. The chip, everything is, production is non-existent right now. And so that's put Bear County in an awkward position. They're having to keep their units in service longer and spend more on maintenance to keep them up and running. So there are no units available. Chief Lopez and I looked at a website, the same place where we purchased the Impala, to see what they had. And they did have a couple of units. I mean, they weren't perfect, but they would have sufficed, and the
Start.
price was okay if we had that kind of money. That was always the challenge.
Yeah, are we restricted from, if, say, another county had an access car?
We can get them from any number of other government agencies, but I think you're gonna find
Everybody's holding on to what they got.
everyone is in the same position. And our challenge is that Expedition is really on its last leg. I mean, we're throwing money at it to keep it running, but it really does need to be replaced. You gotta remember that that vehicle was donated to us in 2015. It's 6 years old. 6 years older, I'm sorry.
Older.
It's a 207 or something, isn't it?
Is it a 2007? I think that's
Yeah.
about right.
Pretty old.
Yeah.
I think it has between 125 and 130,000 miles on it already.
And the challenge with that Expedition is it is not configured with the motor and transmission and everything for a police vehicle. So that's another thing. We're running it as a police vehicle, and that's not what its intended use was. So we may have to bite the bullet. But anyway, okay, so we kind of got off subject there.
But on the reserves, the only thing we need to buy is the badges, of course, and then, we furnish one uniform. They provide everything.
Furnish what?
One uniform, and they provide everything else. We
they
provide
gonna be
badges and one
fully-
uniform.
According and
Do our uniforms have hats?
I'm sorry?
Do our uniforms have
Taser.
hats?
No.
No? Okay.
Sprays and.
If they're certified, they can carry that, but we don't provide any of that. So,
There is additional expense to put them on the police computer system.
yes. Yeah, but that's not going to be anytime in the next 6 months or so. These officers, reserve officers come in one day out of the week. They do 32 hours per month. So the faster they come in and learn and get understanding of our culture here at the department, the faster it's not going to happen in a month. It's not reality.
But no, he has a valid point. So we need a cop sync license.
Mhm.
What does that cost?
I think 300 or so per officer.
What is that?
Cop sync, it's the in-vehicle, the system they use to communicate, to
Login.
track, and
Oh, okay.
yeah. So cop sync at 300 each. And those are transferable.
No.
No, what I'm saying is, if we bring in 3 reserve officers and get them each an individual cop sync, and one of them leaves and we replace them,
Mhm.
it is transferable. The license is transferable to another user, correct?
I have to check on that.
Well, that's a good question, because
Mhm.
if we're paying $300 for it, and let's say that we hire one, or we bring in one of the reserve officers and they leave, do we get a prorated amount to cancel that? How does that work?
I'm
We
sure.
need
but
to know.
but,
What else? What does a badge cost?
I think 150, 160.
160. And uniform?
Probably about, let's say 175, 200.
200.
The badge is transferable though.
Yeah, if the person leaves, then we can issue that.
That badge?
Just to another officer.
Okay. And the uniforms, depends on how short, how tall, how big, how.
Mhm. Yeah.
So we could set a criteria.
One uniform fits all, right?
Can we get spandex?
Well, they only need the badge when they're here.
Yes,
Okay, so if we got a badge with.
one badge and just swap it between no.
Slide out numbers.
Right.
you know,
No,
like
no,
this, you know,
no.
just Slide out number on it.
So let's say each one of these is gonna cost, I've got 660, let's say $700 per. Now, I know we have the money in the budget for now, because I budgeted for an additional officer to be hired come March. So I know we have the money to do this
Yeah.
now. As we move along, we'll figure out how that impacts that additional headcount. So you're looking to add
Let's
two
let-
positions, right?
3.
It says
I
two
said
on
2, but I
here.
Meant 3.
It says 3 on the agenda and 2
Yeah.
on the,
Yeah.
okay, so we'll change this to 3.
It costs less than $51 a month to put a reserve officer on the streets. I'd say that's a
I say
grand,
that's a
grand
bargain.
value.
Yeah,
But the goal here is to hopefully in the next 2 years or so to get at least 12 reserve officers. So that's the goal. So,
How long's the training?
well, they're already licensed peace officers
No, but
today.
you gotta go around and tell them, look at the city and things like that.
it just depends. It just depends on their experience and learning the way we do things and culture. Maybe it could be 6 months to a year.
They're gonna do a ride along.
Yeah, what they do is they ride with the field training officer. And that officer trains them of how to do things and how we work things. So it takes, realize they're only coming in 1 day out of the week. So they're staying with that officer for 8 hours.
From what you know about reserve officers, do they typically stay for extended periods of time, or are they jumping around, or?
No, mostly reserve officers try to stay with one agency so they can carry their commission and work off-duty traffic jobs. That's the main purpose for
Oh.
them too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that they can't work security. They can only work traffic, like, construction and things like that. And you would carry their commission, their license, and that allows them to make extra money in traffic jobs.
About a year ago, I saw a suburban-like vehicle over at Pilot. And it had a logo on it, something about state police,
Mhm,
but it wasn't.
mhm,
It was a rent-a-cop type of operation,
mhm.
but it had that on there. I saw it 2 or 3 times. I never saw it again.
It's a DPS doing traffic. Off-duty.
Okay, so the item on the table is discuss and consider posting job advertisement for 3 reserve officers.
A question about that. I have no objection to it, but the Wilson County News might not be the,
That's not where we go.
where you go. Oh, you
Probably
got
gotta go to
your
TCO.
secret agency thing.
Yeah, we're gonna advertise in TCO and TML.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Okay, so would anybody like to make a motion?
Yes, ma'am. I make a motion that we advertise with TICO and TML for 3 reserve police officers. And I would say run it till we have 3 reserve police officers.
I'll second that.
Here we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Fillinger and Alderman Rapino to approve job advertisement for 3 reserve officer positions and to post those through TCO and TML. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any unopposed? Okay, that is unanimous. Okay, item D. Discuss and. I'm sorry. Oh, E. Hold on. Shush. Discuss and or possible action approving purchase of Mossberg 500 AG 12 gauge firearm for the police department. So I approached Officer or Chief Lopez about, I had a question about selling a personal firearm, which this particular one is mine. And he indicated that it would be something that the police department could use, that they needed an additional long arm because remember, we purchased one, would we buy a AR
Mhm.
something? Yeah. And so we were trying to determine what would be a fair price on that. So I called Dury's. Yeah. And I spoke with the gentleman there. And he said $250 would be a fair market value for that particular weapon. I have no need for it. It was my husband's that I inherited that he's had since, well, we married in 89, we met in 88. It's kind of been in the family for a little while.
I bet
So that-
Drurys would not sell a Mossberg.
Oh, they're not gonna
500 for 250.
No, no, that'd be like 580.
Yeah,
Right.
Could have shot that car thief.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I told my neighbor. I said, if I'd have known, if I was awake, I could have been out
Have
there.
you looked at it? Is that something
Yes, he
you
has
know?
looked at it. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And I actually found 2 boxes of ammo. I think it's double lot. That might be more than what you need. It'll do the job, but you gotta be
What
careful.
gauge is it?
12.
Oh.
It's a pump action. You don't even have to load it. You just have to rack it. And they know what it is. So there is an affidavit that goes with that. Should council approve that? And I don't know if it's in this package or not, but I do have it in email and I would have to file it with the county clerk, if council decided to go that route.
Is that with, juries would provide the fair market value affidavit?
No, that's not the affidavit. The affidavit is my statement that it's my firearm and here's the serial number and disposition of it, and it has to be filed with Bear County.
Has this got any danger because it's you? I mean, if we're finding out- I mean, could this be bad optics to the people who hate us?
I don't know why. I'm getting rid of a gun. That's probably a good
Well,
thing.
the fact that it conveniently is yours, that's,
You know what? It makes no difference to me. I'm gonna sell it regardless.
Okay.
But the police department
And they're
indicated
gonna
they
talk
could.
regardless.
Pardon?
They're gonna talk
Yeah,
regardless.
exactly.
If,
Sweetheart deal.
if chief hadn't spoke up, and I'd known about it.
Yeah, I'd have voted too. Yeah.
Oh, is that gonna influence your decision now?
No, I mean, it's a good deal on a good
I
gun.
thought it was a good deal.
We get that police discount of $245.
Okay, well, heck, they all hate me anyhow. I move that we approve the purchase of a Mossberg 500 AG 12 gauge shotgun from the police department
I'll second,
You want to put a price on that?
at $250.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
is that taxable?
No, it's not tax. Let's not go there. Okay, so we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Fillinger and a second by Alderman Rapino, approving the purchase of a Mossberg 500 AG 12 gauge firearm for the police department for $250. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that was unanimous. Sorry, Charles, if I'd known, I'd have called you for 300.
That's all right. To be real honest, I'm probably over my 12 gauge stage, looking for a 28.
It's a fun one.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I've always loved the pumps because of the impressive sound
Like I said, you don't even have to
of
load
the
it.
shell wrecking home.
Exactly.
I've got.
Yeah, even just a tape of that sounds bad.
Yes.
That was gonna be my security,
I got a
System.
tape for that.
when they break in, before the siren went
One in the
off,
chamber.
you were gonna hear that sound.
Six.
and then a few choice words.
Load something like that.
Okay, Chief Lopez,
You can.
you are free to stay if you choose to, or you may leave. It's up to you.
Thank you, Mayor and council. I appreciate that. Thank
You're
you.
Thank you,
welcome.
Thank you.
And I will get with you tomorrow and we'll get the paperwork, the affidavit.
You
and-
got that check?
Yeah, I'm not giving it to you till she gives it.
You're gonna donate that to the city?
No, I'm not donating.
So nice of you, Mickey.
No. I'm sure that'll be the next question. Why didn't you donate it?
Let's ask everybody that has that question to bring their shotgun to donate.
There you go. Animal control, item 9. Updates and announcements from Animal Control Advisory Committee Chair Jennifer Puente with possible discussion and or action. So this would be your updates and general announcements.
Well, I don't know if you all are aware, we have a stray problem.
What?
No.
I didn't know if some of you guys knew how to bring it up. So we have a stray problem on our hands.
What?
Stray dogs.
Stray
Did you know? Is this news to you?
Yes,
So this past Monday, we had a meeting. There's a lot of things that we need to do to try to help move these dogs along that we have in our shelter now. I don't know, some of you know the max capacity we have is 8 kennels, so potentially 8 dogs. Some dogs we've had in our custody since February, so we're not, nothing's been going on to get these dogs moved out for us to potentially bring in new dogs. So
Excuse us.
That's fine. I'm just gonna keep going. So I don't know if many citizens are aware, we have created an animal control Facebook page. And with that, we plan on posting the animals that we have currently in custody to help get them fostered. If we can get them fostered and have somebody that's able to foster them for about 2 weeks, we can then ship them up north and they can be in a happy, healthy home up north. The problem is that we need fosters. We need people to step up and come in and say, yes, I am willing to help. The more people that help out, the faster we can get these dogs off our streets. We also will be using Nextdoor and the city website. The dogs are on there as well to help get these dogs, putting their faces out there to see if anyone's spokes any interest or anything like that. The AC members, we all have subscribed to Nixle alerts. So now the Animal Control Advisory Committee members will be alerted every time there is a new animal brought into our shelter. So when that happens, we'll probably see more postings on social media saying, hey, we have this intake. Is anybody willing to foster, or if anybody's interested?
The ACAC group on Nixle, that's really available to anybody,
Okay.
if anybody
Yeah,
is
I signed
interested
up
in
for
that.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
anybody can, but it was set up just so at minimum, the members of the committee
Okay.
are aware.
So with that being said, if anybody is interested in joining up, you would text 888.
Nope.
7.
You would text ACAC.
Oh, there you go. You would text ACAC to 88877.
777.
Say that
3837.
3
again.
8s and 3 7s.
Yeah.
3 8s and 3 7.
Three
Yes,
eights and
I've
three
already
sevens.
added you, by the way, sir.
I think you better clarify that. I'm.
So you'll text,
Taking liberties with me.
you will text ACAC to 888-777.
Yes.
By doing that, you will subscribe yourself to receive the alerts every time an animal is brought into our facility.
Every time the report, at the end of each day, I'll be getting reports when those
This isn't limited to the people of San Diego.
Yes.
Yeah, but anyone can sign up.
Well, anyone can sign up,
Sign
but
up.
these animals will be out of San Diego.
Right. And it's,
So I don't know who else is, I don't know anybody other.
I mean,
City.
you have to be a citizen of San Diego
No.
to
No.
foster.
No.
That's what I-
No, no.
oh,
no,
to
no.
foster, you do
Anybody can
not.
foster.
Yeah.
As long as you are approved by filling out the form, and our ACO will go and inspect to make sure you have a proper
Right.
yard.
Okay.
And fosters, the city does provide the food, and they do get a medical certificate. So, you know, we're not asking for a financial commitment from our fosters, just a physical commitment, time and space,
And love.
Parking.
and love, lots of love.
Okay, I have a question, and I know it's gonna come up. How many animals have we had since February?
How many have we had?
No, I mean, we
Oh,
now have in the
sorry.
kennel, you said we
We've
had,
had,
Wait, hold on. That report that you're talking about, that was from June forward. I don't have that readily available right now.
okay.
We started looking, going just back to June, just to see from June going forward,
Okay,
what's been the activity.
can we discuss why?
Why
they're
what?
there?
Why the dogs are there?
Yep,
Absolutely.
part of the animal cruelty case.
We
Okay.
have four, we have three that are animal cruelty. Those were picked up in February during the storm.
Yep.
Chief Lopez is working with the district attorney's office because it's their case. So until they give us some indication that they're ours to do with as we see fit, the problem is they're all pits. And I can tell you right now, doing a little bit of research, most facilities
Are not
will
accepted.
not, no, they will not adopt out a pit
They're not.
to the
adopted.
public.
No, they're not.
They will,
adopted.
they will let them go to a rescue, but
Mhm.
they will not let them be adopted.
Okay.
And I think that's probably a good,
Good idea.
that's a good idea, a good guideline to follow because we're dealing with adult pits and we don't know what their history is.
Okay, my point is having dogs that long a term is not normal. It's an aberration.
Mhm.
Because it's a criminal case, we cannot dispose of them.
Right,
Without the judge or district attorney's approval.
right.
So we are forced to keep them until
Until such time as we, can-
they're cleared.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
And
The others that we have are strays.
Yeah.
That have been picked up.
Yeah, they seem to move through fairly well, but we do need fosters.
Yeah, one of the ones that we had last week is in foster now. The German Shepherd Bandit is now in a foster environment. So that's one step towards finding that one a
Because
home.
we cannot transport them without the 2 weeks in foster care.
They have to have a medical certificate, which is what the ACO does, picks them up, takes them in. I'll make this statement publicly so everybody understands. Any puppies picked up that go to the vet and have parvo are put down. We're not,
Yeah.
we can't overcome that horrible affliction. Any animals we pick up that they go to the vet and they have heartworm, they will be put down. We don't have the means to
Right.
keep them in a hospital environment. So right there, and not just parvo, but if there's
Distemper.
distemper, they're gonna be put down. Any serious illness, they're gonna be put down. A serious injury, unless one of our committee members or a rescue wants to step in and take that animal. We'll just make sure that when that situation comes up, that's a communication to our team that here's what we're faced with and here's what we're going to do. If you have other options, I need to know like now. Because
Right.
it's not something we're going to hang on to. We're not bringing sick animals back into our facility.
Go ahead and justifiably.
Yes.
Okay, I'm happy that's clear.
Okay.
And I'm sorry for.
No,
interrupting.
you're fine. I think the last one is euthanasia. Some of these dogs are just, we have to do something. If no
Mhm.
one's willing to foster, then,
Space is an issue and
Space
that's
is
something
an
that we've
issue.
talked about in the past.
and so we've been tossing around the idea about possibly keeping an animal, I believe 10 to 14 days. It hasn't really been
14,
decided.
no, 14.
14 is gonna be the max, so
Yeah.
14 days. If we cannot find a foster, find a rescue, find something, then unfortunately, we would have to put the dog down, because there's too many in our streets.
Right. There's
Good.
too many that need to be
Yeah.
addressed and we just
Well,
don't have the
This is
capacity.
going to happen. This has been predictable
Oh, yeah.
as the pandemic wore down and people no longer needed their comfort pet.
Mhm.
And
Or the puppies grew up or,
although we're probably ahead of that in the city, but it's something I fully expected.
oh, yeah.
And euthanasia, we've kind of walked away from that from a long time, but it's absolutely the only solution.
Right.
And, we have to accept that.
Well, it's not the only, it's the last resort.
It's
Well, that's what I
it's the
said.
responsible answer.
Yeah,
We as a city are not a rescue organization.
and we're not a bed
We-
and breakfast.
We work with rescues, we work with fosters, but we're not a rescue
No,
organization.
I know that.
So you know, I,
You'll start seeing more social media activity around this.
I have seen it already.
So
Quite a
asking for
bit.
donations, asking for fosters, making sure that we're keeping the kennel cards current and so that we can share those publicly. I know that when I share anything about the animals that are in custody, like on Nextdoor, you can filter where you want to share those. Everybody, I don't care where you
everybody
live,
gets to see it, yeah.
everybody, everywhere gets it.
Well, I know my ex-wife on my Facebook, I don't know if it shows up on other ones. She does that for the church animal rescue,
Mhm,
and but she's always been a really dog person.
mhm.
But I've seen ours, and I think we do a terrific job of advertising them.
Mhm.
Good photos.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, when we get our ACO in place, then we'll really start putting some focus on this, and enforcement is still going to be our number one tool. That I don't know how else to do it. We just have to enforce the ordinances that we have, and if you make it painful enough, then we might make a dent. I don't know.
Well, I don't know about where I know the street that you live on and not so much mine, but they sort of have a euthanasia program right there.
Yeah, right there at the intersection. Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
I have one more.
Yes.
Penny Paws, there was some confusion with Penny Paws this month. They will be here this Saturday, the 16th, from 9 to 4.
Okay. And the microchip and nail clip will also be happening from 9 till 2.
9 to 2.
Mhm.
How much again is the microchip?
Microchipping is $10 if you're a resident and $25 if you are a non-resident, and that does include the registration.
It's up to the dog owner to do the registration?
No, we do it.
Really?
That way
Right
we
there,
make
so
sure it
gets
gets
done?
No, actually, they fill out a form and then our ACO actually inputs those into the system. That way we know
Right.
that it
good,
got done.
Good.
Yeah. And the same thing, microchipping any animal that is adopted, or if it's picked up on the street and is
Correct.
returned to the owner, gets microchipped before it leaves the facility.
Who's the ACO at the moment?
We don't really have one. We have Priscilla helping out. Really, the duties have fallen to the police department because it's their department. We do have, they have to go out on any calls that happen to come in.
No, I meant, you said at the Penny Paws that and the microchipping. There would be. an
No,
ACO.
here, if an animal gets picked up and
Oh,
brought to our
okay.
facility, or if somebody wants to adopt one of these that we have, they get microchipped before they leave.
Okay,
That-
I thought you meant, I thought you said an ACO had to be there at the park.
No.
Okay.
If
Okay.
strays are picked up and they have to be microchipped on their way out because the owner claims them, do they also have to neuter them if they're not neutered, spayed?
Yes, but we'll have to talk about that when we get the ACO in place. We'll talk more about that on
Okay.
what the requirements are. Because there's some other things that we discussed at the last meeting, like a voucher program, different things. So we'll work on that when we get that position filled. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to item 10. I know, folks, I got to go back to wherever I was, number 7, but we're going to continue where we're at. 10A, update and announcements from Park Advisory Committee Chair Tom Rapina with possible discussion and or action. And these would just be general announcements.
Right. We had a meeting last Tuesday and the park committee is doing a lot of things. One thing we're doing is we're going to fix the doors in the restrooms in the park, and at first we're going to shop that out, but now the members are going to take care of that on their own, so it'll save us a lot of money. And we're also going to fix the benches behind the backstop, where the ball field is. Gonna paint them and then fix them onto the metal
Frame.
frame there. And Jennifer already said that Penny Falls is going to be in the park on the weekend, and they're also going to have the swap meet, I believe, on Saturday.
Yes, the community yard sale is also this Saturday.
Yeah, and we did get the Frisbee golf set, and we're going to be looking at where to set that up and to see if it catches on, we will get more and set up probably a
I think
Frisbee
this Saturday
golf
would be
course.
a good time to set that up.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
And our next meeting we're gonna have the meeting on November 2nd, but now that the voting is gonna take place, then we're gonna have it on the 3rd, which is a Wednesday,
Okay,
which is open according.
yeah,
and you said
that's
that,
confusing me.
yeah.
but we're good. I got it now.
Okay. And that's all. I have.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, item 10B, discuss and or consider approval of engineering traffic study for intersection at Waterwood Pass and Shady Forest. So, as luck would have it, I got a phone call about 3 o'clock this afternoon from that
Okay,
firm that I've reached out to. I did ask the question, were we required to do this? And the answer is there is no blanket waiver, if you will. There are certain situations where if we had an engineering firm that specialized in that as well, based on some factors, environmental factors, could say, I recommend it for these reasons. So since we don't have that.
of course they would say that. I'm just saying.
No, I know. But what they would do is they would come out, it would take about a week for them to do the data gathering. And they're going to check for traffic patterns along Waterwood Pass and at the intersection. They will also do tallies for bicyclists and pedestrians. And yes, actually, you're right, they would.
And for what?
And
Speeding, they would be checking speed as well. And then they would take all that data back and they would review it and make a recommendation. They would prepare a memo, and she said it could be anywhere from 10 to 20 pages of all the recommendations and everything. It takes about, from the time of signing a contract until we get the final results, would be maximum 3 weeks. And the cost will be anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000.
And what would it accomplish?
Well, it would satisfy the requirement that we have to perform a traffic study. That's the,
Just at
I
that one
will still
intersection?
debate
Yes.
that, man.
you know what? I'm going to defer to the city attorney on this.
All I can say is the state law says that DOT has authority for traffic signals and signs on state highways,
Mhm.
and local government has the authority on local roadways. And the word that they use is should use a traffic study. They do not say shall
Must.
use a traffic study, neither in the law authorizing
Mhm.
local government to set signs, nor in the, what is it, the MUSCO?
Texas manual for traffic.
Manual for uniform traffic control.
signals or-
And again, it says should, it does not say
Must
shall.
or shall.
And in the law, those two words, should is a recommendation, shall is a mandate.
Right.
Okay. I'm not a traffic engineer,
Mhm.
But when I pull up from Shady Forest and look at Waterwood Pass, I can't see down the hill
Right.
that way.
And you can't see
I
around the
can't
corner
see
the other way.
around the corner the other way. And in the 11 years I've been here, I think there's been 3 traffic accidents that are taken out.
That
the
was something
wrought iron
else that they would
fence.
do. They would
Okay,
go back and look at accident histories.
we've lost bollards there and we've had signs run over there. And again, it's just a blind corner
It is.
coming on Shady Forest either way.
Mhm.
You know, call me hard-headed, but I don't believe we need a traffic study. I believe we need to put 4-way stops up there, and I believe that 100 feet from each of those, we need a warning
Warning sign.
sign on Waterwood Pass.
Maybe rumble strips.
Stop bars.
Does it define what a traffic, who should do the traffic study, or does it just say we
No,
can do our
you-
own
you-
traffic
you-
study?
No.
No, you hire a traffic engineering
Yes.
firm.
So it
to
does
do it.
define,
It does define, yes. And that's who I spoke with.
okay.
Well, the signs, to have 2 stop signs, you're gonna make a 4-way stop, right?
Right.
Okay, I think you have to have a sign that says 4-way stop.
No,
somewhere.
we've already talked about
Okay.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
each
but-
one would have a little placard
We're,
that
we're
says.
talking $3,000 to $5,000 traffic survey to put up $1,000 worth of signs.
Okay, so it costs,
Is
About
there
1,000
something
to
that
put up
points
all
out
signs?
that
Hold
particular
on.
intersection? Go ahead.
Were you finished? Or he was talking too. I
Oh,
I
okay.
wanted, only wanted
I
one
was
of
just
you.
asking him, but that's all.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
I was saying, is there something that points out that particular intersection for a traffic study? Or is it just that
Yeah.
something that says that a city should have a traffic study?
To address that, yes, sir, traffic lights or stop signs. They do recommend you should have a traffic study. The state mandates on state highways, there will be a traffic study. But like I say, they don't mandate for local governments to
So,
have a traffic
If you
study.
remember when I worked with TechStot to get the 4-way stop sign installed over there by Dollar General
Mhm.
and over on the other side of the bridge, that's exactly what they did. They did traffic studies to try and
But
came
how
back
did they
and
find
said,
this intersection?
They did not.
they
ma'am.
did not.
Oh,
Their TechStot doesn't play in our space here. They were dealing, because that's all TechStot property on that side. But
I've
one of the
received
things that I
several
mentioned.
Complaints over the years
Oh,
about
yeah.
that intersection.
Well, and I will tell you this, another reason to even consider this. When we incorporated in 2014, we had approximately 2,500 people in this community.
Yeah.
The latest census, we have over 5,000 people. So we have grown considerably, and there are still somewhere around 500 lots still available to develop. So it's only going to continue
Yeah.
to grow and become a problem. And if you've ever sat at that intersection, you gotta sit there for quite a while
Okay.
because you're constantly
and-
having to go back and
And
forth
when
to
you
make
pull
sure.
out, you better be pushing on the gas.
Exactly.
because You can't see
Yeah.
from either direction.
Exactly. And Waterwood Pass is one of the main thoroughfares. I would have said the main, but with New Mathis open now, it's another main thoroughfare. So those are the 2 main roads within the
But
city.
there's no cross traffic on New Mathis.
New Mathis is not as big a deal because it's a 3-way, first of all. But you have clear sight.
Yeah, you don't have a blind.
No, that
spot.
is dangerous, and
Yeah.
you sit there and wonder, even after you made the decision to move. if you're gonna
Yeah.
die.
That-
Well,
exactly,
and
that's what I'm
Shady
saying.
Forest by default is a quasi
Well,
main
Well,
thoroughfare.
It's the only cross.
It's
town
the other,
road.
it's the other main entrance into the area.
Shady, Shady Forest and Waterwood Pass were originally the main thoroughfares
Mhm.
in Waterwood.
Right.
And that really hasn't changed.
No.
Uh,
So I would like to ask the city attorney, Ms. Ortiz, what would be your recommendation?
Well, I was gonna point out just what Mayor Pro Tem Fillinger pointed out was that the language in the manual of uniform traffic control devices uses should. It doesn't use shall, it doesn't use may. So it gives it more as a recommendation. There are other areas of the manual that talks about, recommending traffic control studies because a stop sign, there may be another appropriate sign, or a warning, or stop signs in some cases can cause more harm
Right.
than good. But there's no mandate for the traffic control study. It seems like the manual just highly recommends. It doesn't even use highly recommend.
Right.
Should is the word it
It,
uses.
it does say should, and it is mandated on state highways,
Right,
but that's a completely different operation than what we've got.
right. And I do know in the conversation this afternoon with the engineer, they mentioned, without me telling her anything about why we were considering this, she said, if there's situations where it is a hazard for whatever reason, whatever environmental impacts there are that are creating that, then not that there's a blanket waiver that you can use, but that could be a good justification
Yeah,
for
if
not
it,
having to have a traffic study.
if it was somebody's bush
Right, that's,
blocking the view, then we
travelable.
could deal with that.
Yeah.
But, a curve this way and a hill this way, we're not gonna physically change that.
okay.
Could I
Make a motion.
From the
Well, hold
law,
on, wait, he has a question. Go ahead.
from our attorney, because I didn't hear what she said exactly, but I gather it was okay to go with may or should. If we took the option of doing it ourselves without the traffic study, and there's an accident, no matter how it happens, we can't be sued for not having that official study.
Traffic study.
Yeah.
Well-
I mean, they could sue you for anything, but it would stand up in court.
Yeah, that was a question. The insurance companies, will they honor our decision?
Well, I think it goes back to what get the local government code that authorizes the city to control traffic, and it's not something that's mandated. So it can certainly be something the city points out to in making the decision. But the engineering traffic control study would probably be, a better defense or showing why certain signals or certain stop signs, or why it was a four-way stop versus a two-way stop, or, why they were in place. That being the basis. But, there would be potential government immunities from a suit too, that could, where a lawsuit could get kicked out.
Got
Yeah.
And my
So
thought
it's
is,
not-
if it's for health and safety.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can't defend against that.
Well, I would suggest we would be more likely to be sued for not having stop signs
I
there,
agree.
I would agree
I agree
too.
with that.
knowing
Yeah.
that it's,
A hazard,
it's a hazard.
Yeah.
It's always been a hazard.
right,
And the traffic study's not going to change the fact that that hazard exists.
exactly.
And it's very obvious, it's
Yeah.
not like,
Check with insurance.
No, I don't think we need to do that.
I'm making.
Okay, yes, would you like to make a
I'd like to
motion?
make a motion that we do not use the traffic study, that we make the intersection of Waterwood Pass and Shady Forest a four-way stop sign by adding 2 stop signs.
Sir, I would,
And-
I would, I would state that recommendation is out of order because the
Okay.
agenda only talks about
Only
the
in traffic study.
the
Okay,
engineering
I would
study.
recommend that we don't have a traffic
I'll
study.
second that.
Okay, so we have a motion by Alderman Crickmer and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Fillinger to not approve an engineering traffic study for the intersection of Waterwood Pass and Shady Forest. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that was unanimous. Okay, item C. Discuss and/or possible action on amending council action on the amount authorized for purchasing a refrigeration unit for the community center. And this is being brought back by Alderman Rapino and Mayor Pro Tem Fillinger. So go ahead, sir.
Okay, I'll go ahead and jump right in there.
Go ahead.
The unit that we approved purchasing from Home Depot is not in stock at Home Depot. and they have no idea when it might be back in stock at Home Depot. Looking at other options, all of them are more expensive. Most of them ranging in the $2,400 to $2,700 range. So I would make a motion that we approve $3,000 for the refrigeration unit for the community center.
I'll second that.
Okay. So I do have a question for Ms. Ortiz. Do we state this in terms of adding additional to what was already approved or replacing the amount?
Probably be easier just to add it.
To add
what
it?
it's been approved, but
Okay.
the motion is.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Fillinger and a second by Alderman Rapino to add an additional $1,000 to the approved amount for purchase of a refrigeration unit for the community center, not to exceed 3,000. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that is unanimous. Okay, I know y'all looking at number 11, but we ain't going there yet. Let's go back to number 7.
We do this every meeting. Just upset me.
I know, it's a tease.
Ma'am, can we have a 10-minute?
Yes,
Take a
actually,
break.
it is 7:42 and we are going to, I don't want to say adjourn.
Recess, ma'am.
We're just going to go into recess. We'll be back in 15 minutes, we'll be back at 7:55. How's that?
Have a nice
Turn off the
review.
recorder.
Hold on, I gotta pause the recorder. Oh, Charlotte. Okay, it is 7:55 and we are gonna go back into session. We are moving to agenda item 7A, discuss and or possible action on issuing a request for qualifications for a city engineer. So you may notice on the agenda, we're not talking about the road bond.
Mhm.
We haven't been able to talk about the road bond for the last couple of meetings. We had this issue with M&S Engineering a couple of years ago. And I seriously contemplated at that time putting out a bid for another engineer. They have some internal turmoil. I do not know what's going on there. Again, Jared has left. He's no longer there.
Ma'am, let's cut to the chase. They're not responsive to our needs.
Thank
and,
you.
I make a motion that we issue a request for qualifications for a city engineer.
Okay.
A second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Fillinger and a second by Alderman Crickmer to approve issuing a request for qualifications for a city engineer. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? That is unanimous. Ms. Ortiz, I know you have the RFQ already prepared, so we'll work with,
And we'll need a date.
There's a deadline, or how open do you want the application process?
wow. With them, we probably need to do the 30 days
Yeah.
in order to get,
Yeah, let's plan on addressing this in the December meeting. So let's get it posted. I would recommend that we post not only in our newspaper of record, but also in the San Antonio papers.
ooh, San Antonio is, there's another, TML is a good one.
Okay,
But there is also another, Charlotte, could you find out where we posted it before? There is a trade that's specific,
yeah.
and I can't remember who they
I
are,
don't
but
remember
find out who
either,
that
but-
is.
Okay.
So we'll do the website, we'll do TML, we'll do, you want to do Wilson County News?
Yep.
Um,
I think that's a waste
Wilson County News?
on this.
Well, it
issue.
is our official paper of record.
Yeah, we have.
So
to
we kind of
post
have
it
to
there.
do that. And then whatever the trade site is, we'll find out what that is. And we'll do a 30-day. and see if we can maybe start that next week.
So that'd be November, what do you want to do, November 14th?
It would be. I would get it posted in Wilson County for next Wednesday's
Right, yeah,
publication,
but
which
what-
is the
what day-
20th.
What's the?
Oh, I
day?
see what you're saying, the 14th. Ugh. Let's see, 1, 2. I would say by November 15th, close of business, which is a Monday, or you want to do a Friday?
What day are we having our meeting in
The
November?
11th.
The 11th.
We can't do it that soon,
Well, I said.
but
let's
you said
address it in
December.
December, so,
December 9th.
Pardon?
December 9th is that date for the
Yeah, the other reason.
December.
Oh, December 9th. I was like.
okay, I'm looking at the November calendar.
Mm-hmm.
Cut it off November 26th at the end of business. That's a Friday and and that gives us 2 weeks
Okay,
to
so
check their qualifications and such.
not 30 days, but November 19,
Yeah,
close of business.
November 19th or November 26th?
I'm sorry, November 26th. I was
That's
on the
Black
wrong,
Friday.
yeah, 26.
26, sorry,
Me and my holidays.
which
City Hall is open the 26th.
it may not be. Can we back it up to Wednesday, the 24th because of the Thanksgiving holiday?
Sure.
Let's change it to 24, November 24. Okay. Okay, do we need to redo the motion?
If all that discussion, someone can just make the motion.
Make a motion for
based
the-
on what was
Okay,
discussed.
Okay, I make a motion that we advertise the TML city website, Wilson County News, and the civil engineering trade site. We receive their qualifications until close of business November 24th.
we have a
I'll
second.
second that.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Fillinger and a second by Alderwoman Puente to post the request for qualifications on the city website, TML, Wilson County News, and the civil engineering trade site with a deliverable close of business November 24th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that is unanimous. Okay, item B, discuss under possible action on a direct mail campaign for the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 program. So in a previous meeting, I know I've mentioned that we're working on a household profile, if you will, to try to identify the needs in the community. It was interesting, last night I got a phone call from Mario at the food bank, because we haven't been utilizing them for a while, and he just wanted to see how we were doing, and I kind of filled him in on some stuff that was happening. I told him when we get this profile back, then I'll have a better idea of where the food bank might be able to fill in the gap there. I mentioned that we have Be a Champion that's addressing the kids, but we don't have a program in place that would address the adults. And I know there is a need there. So I've been in contact with Thompson Printing to get a feel for what it would cost to do a mail out. My thought was it would be, because we're doing a mail out, I want to maximize this, not just the profile, but I want to include information about VIA. I want to include information about Be a Champion. I want to include, make sure, use it as an opportunity to let people know about other things that are happening out here. It would be English, it would be Spanish. What Sterling quoted me seemed low. And the printing price for a legal size trifold, like we've done before, was about $275 printing plus mailing. Mailing is about 38 cents a piece. So when I figured it out, it seemed really cheap. And I honestly don't think that's what it's gonna be. So I would recommend that we do a not to exceed $3,000. That way we're covered. I don't think it's gonna be that much, but that way we would be in a position
How
to,
many households have we got?
well, that's a good question. I'm still working through the list. But it's gonna be in the 1,500 households.
Okay.
Yeah.
The last time I did one, it was close to $3,000.
I know.
It's,
Now, he gets different postal rates than we would, which is one of the and they have an in-house facility that does
Yeah,
that.
I used him.
Oh, yeah.
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 For when you were running for office? Oh, my God.
would these funds, come from the American Rescue
Yes,
Plan?
they would
budget?
come from the ARPA funds, yes.
Okay. Then I'll make a motion that we have a direct mail campaign for the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, not to exceed $3,000.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Fillinger and a second by Alderman Rapino to approve a direct mail campaign related to the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 for a cost not to exceed $3,000. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Any opposed? Okay, that is unanimous. All right, I'll work on getting that done. Item C, discuss and a possible action on approving audit services proposal for fiscal year ending September 30th, 2021 from Armstrong, Vaughn and Associates. I've already been in contact with them and asked them, what we needed to do to kind of get this thing rolling. And they sent me the engagement letter, and it's the same as last time. The price has gone up because as we're adding additional funds, it's just the way it is. And if I am not mistaken, I want to say it was 11,500. 400, yes. 11,400 for them to do the audit. And she did ask me, she says, have you added any additional funds? And I said, well, as a matter of fact, we did. So they did a really good job with us and helped us a lot.
Yeah.
This
Right.
last go round.
They've been
And,
very responsive. And
They have been very responsive, and I will tell you that we're using the online QuickBooks version now, and it allows the accountant, you can give the accountant access. So they go in and they do the tweaking for you. If you've got something wrong in your chart of accounts, they'll fix it for you. So I
outstanding.
I like them a lot.
Okay, I
Who's
move
up?
that we approve audit services proposal for fiscal year ending September 30th, 2021 from Armstrong, Vaughn and Associates, not to exceed $11,500.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Fillinger and a second by Alderman Rapino, approving the audit services proposal for fiscal year ending September 30th, 2021 for Armstrong, Vaughn and Associates for a cost not to exceed $11,500. All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Any opposed? Okay, that was unanimous. Okay, item E. We're striking item D. Sorry, the information was not yet available. Item E, discuss and or possible action on filling animal control officer position. And let's work on that here in a moment. So I have two applications here. And the first one is from a gentleman who lives here in the city, who was actually hired back in the May timeframe as a general labor to assist with getting this building back together after the water damage. And has stayed on as an extra set of hands assisting between Public Works and Animal Control since that time. And that would be Dalton Ellis. And during his work with our previous ACO, Chris Maldonado, he had expressed an interest in that position and had understood, that Mr. Maldonado would be moving on to a different career path. And so he's been doing what he can. He's not named as the officer. He's not certified as an ACO. So again, the work really, he's been an extra set of hands for the police department for all practical purposes and in the enforcement side of this. I think everyone here knows Dalton. If you don't, he sits right there. And he has a great work ethic and has a great desire to make the animal control program work. And for that, I'm very much appreciative. I will tell you the other gentleman, ironically, his last name is Dalton. So that was a little confusing. I did have a conversation with him today, and he lives in Florida. He has family in Sutherland Springs, a brother, and would like to move back to Texas. He has apparently extensive animal control officer experience with several different sheriff's departments, or two of them, I'm sorry. Walton County Sheriff's Office in, I guess you say that, Defuniak Springs?
Yep.
That, okay. And also Polk County Sheriff's Office in Winter Haven, Florida. He has a lot of qualifications. He's certified in Florida. He'd have to be recertified here. He is certified for euthanasia and for dart gun and for, and they do a lot of animal cruelty cases and such. So, and it's a very large, apparently, because I asked him, what's the population in Polk County? And he kind of laughed. He said, it's like the biggest county in Florida. Yeah. So the challenge is he's not here. I know he wants to come here, but I did ask him about his salary qualifications if we can't afford him. He's
55,000.
no, it wasn't that bad, but it's a lot more than what we budgeted for. And so my recommendation is for Dalton Ellis to step into that role.
What does it take to become certified?
There's a training class he has to go to, and he has a full year from appointment to the position to get the certification. But of course, we would try to speed that along as best we can. One of the challenges is that when it may not be a challenge anymore, but training, you couldn't get any training for any position whatsoever through any government agency during the pandemic. And those are kind of loosening up a little bit now. So we'll have to find where he could get the certification. But I would like to ask, I know you turned in an application, so I'm going to assume that you would accept the appointment. Okay.
What would he be able to do everything without the training?
He cannot write a citation. The police would have to write the citation.
Okay, but we have that covered.
Yes, so he would be working very closely with the police officers as he's been doing now. But we would make sure that he got the training and the certification as quickly as possible. But he has been taking care of the animals. He's been very involved with what the ACAC has been doing to kind of give us feedback on what's working, what's not working, what we could change. Maybe we try this. So that would be I would recommend him for the position.
What about that?
That's pipe dream.
Is that a typo?
No. What I would, from a salary perspective, I would also recommend that we do what we did with ACO Maldonado, which we started him out at, I don't know if it was exactly 15 because he was in Public Works originally. But maybe start him at 15. When he gets certified, then we would bump him up at that time. Well, That's not what we budgeted
That's not,
for.
yeah, we didn't budget for
We
that.
have to budget now I will tell you, there is money in the budget for the increase once he's certified. And we'll talk about that when the time comes, but we have to establish a starting salary.
Just let you know, but
You may,
for this week,
yes.
I realize you live here in the city. And I like that part. But outside of that convenience of that to you, is this a job you really want?
Yeah, and I've actually been really thinking about that and talking with my family about it, and I plan on staying in San Diego for quite a while, with me and my family. My young daughter's here, so I take my community seriously, so I plan on applying that for quite some time.
I've worked with Dalton on a few occasions and I would recommend him. I'd recommend him. This other guy seems to be a little bit overqualified maybe,
Well,
and a little overpriced and not in local, he's in another state.
yeah, now he said that he would be able, he would just need 2 weeks. A week, I think he's talking about a week's notice to his current employer and then a week to make the move. But again, we can't, what he's looking for salary wise, I don't believe that we can afford that.
No, I,
Well,
because of this,
and we still have the same issue,
Not certified.
that not certified in Texas, and his euthanasia certification won't transfer.
Right.
So the cost of training would be the same
It would be
either
the same,
way.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
you have to find a lodging, even though.
He
we
would be
have-
living with his brother.
Yeah.
That would be
For how
quite
long?
a,
Yeah,
Well,
Uh,
quite
I
a
didn't go into
commute
that.
there, quite a commute.
It is from
Okay,
Sutherland
I've
Springs.
heard recommendations. Does anyone want to make a nomination?
just one last question, man. Just getting certified is one thing, but is actually administering euthanasia going to give you a problem?
Well, first of all, we don't do that here because you have to have an approved facility clean room
Oh,
Yeah.
specifically for that. And we do not have that. We don't have any plans for that.
okay.
And
I
be
did
able to
not know that.
administer that drug.
Yeah, you have to be trained and yeah,
Motion.
we've tried to do that before.
She did the nomination.
I make a nomination.
So we do the motion.
No.
I made a
All we
recommendation.
need is,
What did I do?
yeah,
I thought you made
I think
the
you-
nomination.
I
I think you
recommended.
recommended.
I think I
Yeah.
recommended.
Okay, so we do need a nomination.
We do.
and a Second on the nomination.
Okay. So I don't know if I want to do this right, but I would like to nominate Dalton Ellis for the position of Animal Control Officer.
you need a second on that?
We
I
do.
second.
I'll second.
Okay.
But Charles already seconded.
Okay, so we have and wait, before we do that, let's back up.
Oh, do I need to? do
Well,
the-
we need to talk about salary and start
Well,
date.
we have a nomination man at second, so now we can discuss,
Okay,
okay? What are you recommending for salary, man?
I'm thinking a starting of 15 for now. Once
Mhm.
certified, then we would bump that up to, I don't know, 16.
1650.
We can probably swing that.
Dalton, would that be acceptable to you?
I would prefer a little bit more. I understand I'm not certified yet, but and especially after certified, I would prefer a little.
I've
more.
never had a job when I wouldn't prefer to have. one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just the nature of the job and the risks of the job and certain things. I think that qualifies for a little bit more.
That would be a performance issue.
Yeah.
Well, there's
And which I
that,
understand,
We'll see
yeah.
how you
yeah,
feel.
there's that as well.
Okay, so it would be acceptable to you to start at $15 an hour until you get certified?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh,
With the start date.
and a start
as soon as
date.
Possible.
Well, so
Well, the pay
I
period.
checked with Catherine the other day to find out when does the new payroll cycle start, and it starts on the 17th, which is Monday or Sunday, whatever day that is. Sunday, so it's coming up. So we could do him effective the 17th.
That's another,
And who's covering this weekend? You are?
I have been.
Okay, so Saturday will be one thing and Sunday would be something different.
They get paid either.
Do they get paid extra for that, or is that just taken out of the?
No. So on the weekend coverage, when they come up here, right now, it's been Dalton and Priscilla are alternating weekends to come care for them. We already have in our personnel policy related to animal control, a minimum 2-hour call out that they get paid. So if it only takes them 30 minutes to take care of the dogs, they still get paid for 2 hours.
Okay, but it doesn't take away from their 40 hours.
No, it adds to it.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they're getting-
That's all.
Yeah, it's work time. Okay, so we have, well, let's start with the first motion. Well,
So we
let's
need a
start with,
motion
whoa,
now.
whoa,
Okay,
whoa.
we had a motion, we're gonna amend it,
Okay,
with a starting salary of $15 and the start date of.
well, hold on. She made the motion, you seconded.
So
So
now we
she,
got it, now we're gonna do
Yes,
another
ma'am,
motion
but now,
to,
now we're.
You're amending
the
it?
Motion.
okay,
So I wish to amend it by start salary of $15 an hour and a start date of October 17th.
okay,
I'll second that.
okay.
Any other items we need to, that
He would-
amendment's been seconded, so.
Then we're good. Okay, so we have an amendment to the original motion. The amendment was made by Mayor Pro Tem Fillinger and seconded by Alderwoman Puente to offer the position of Animal Control Officer to Dalton Ellis with a starting rate of 15 an hour until certified, and that would be effective on October 17th of 2021. All in favor, say aye.
I,
I,
Unopposed or opposed? Okay, that was unanimous. Welcome aboard. And you can get with Charlotte or Catherine. They'll get you whatever paperwork for benefits and all the paperwork you got to fill out. Okay, item F, discuss or consider posting job advertisement for code enforcement officer. So I put together these two documents. We'll talk about the first one. And this, again, came from Bear County. This is their job description. I've tweaked it. I've removed things that didn't apply, like we don't do fire inspections, things that we don't do here in the city. So this individual would be also, we've already approved it in the budget, so that's not the issue. But this individual would be working to address basically our ordinance enforcement and code compliance, and work directly with the police department. So again, this individual would have to be certified. There is training that is required. And once they are certified, then they can issue citations as well. So right now, what I'd like to do is just get the ad posted to see what candidates that we get for this particular position. So we would need to consider when and where we're going to post it, and what the salary range is. I put a salary range on there. And I identified it as non-exempt because the difference between exempt and non-exempt. And just for clarification purposes, in case anybody here was curious, I do not have human resource background. I'm just putting that out there. I have a payroll background. They are two different things. So a non-exempt employee is entitled to overtime. An exempt employee is not. They would be a straight salary.
Under a certain amount, they are.
Yeah, but
Well,
we're
I
not
don't
paying
wanna get into
we're not
that.
paying
Yeah.
anybody that low.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Is this exempt or non-exempt?
it says non-exempt right here.
So it will
Non-exempt.
be an hourly.
It would be an hourly position.
Or do we run the ad and for how long?
Well, we need to figure that out. So I'll let you guys know.
Other than the website in Wilson County News, do you have any other
TML.
TML?
Mhm.
I think that that's it. And
Again, we're looking at, let's look at a time frame here. I don't believe we would be able to. Let's see, 1, 2. Probably gonna also have to do that at the December meeting, so I don't know what deadline you want to put.
Why don't we put it the same as the other one?
Yeah, we might as well make
30
it the same.
days?
Well,
I think it was the 24th of November.
we can do it in conjunction with our next meeting, which is what we just did with the RFQ for the engineer. So
24th of November.
November 24th.
okay,
Okay,
Yeah, I think Wilson County News and TML.
On the website.
okay. Would someone like to make a motion?
sure, I'll make a motion. I love making motions.
Motion man.
I vote that we approve posting a job advertisement for code enforcement officer with TML, the Wilson County News, and our website. The Wilson County News, let's get it in 2 editions.
Okay.
TML, as long as they'll run it website till the close of business, 11/24. We've received applications until close of business, November 24th.
Do you want to
Second.
reference, what, you want to reference a salary range?
No, ma'am, it's only advertised.
Oh, okay.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Fillinger and a second by Alderman Crickmer to approve posting a job advertisement for code enforcement officer. 2 publications at Wilson County News, post on the city website, and also post on TML with a job ad close date of November 24th at close of business. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that was unanimous. Okay, let's move on to item G. Discuss and or consider posting job advertisement for public works employee. So I will tell you that the reason that we're doing that is that our current public works employee has expressed an interest in the code enforcement position. So were they to be selected for that position, we would need to backfill this one. So it makes sense to go ahead and just publish both of these so that they're out there. And again, I think the same postings and
Criteria.
dates and everything would apply.
Okay, then I make a motion that we post a job advertisement for public works employee with TML, Wilson County News for 2 editions, posted on the city website and receive applications until the close of business 11/24.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Fillinger and a second by Alderman Rapino to approve posting the job advertisement for public works employee for 2 publications of Wilson County News, TML, the city website, and close the job ad on November 24th, close of business. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that was unanimous. Okay, item H. Discuss and or consider the transfer of funds from the ARPA account to reimburse the city for employee relief related to COVID-19, not to exceed $2,245.63. Under the ARPA funding, that is one of the allowable uses of the funds is to reimburse the city for COVID-related expenses and paid leave to employees who were out due to COVID is is an authorized use of those funds. And this dollar amount is exactly the dollar amount that was paid to 2 employees that were out for COVID.
Any questions? Okay. I move that we transfer funds from the ARPA account to our
General fund.
general fund for employee leave related to COVID-19 not to exceed $2,245.63.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Fillinger and a second by Alderman Rapino, approving the transfer of funds from the ARPA account to the city's general fund account related to employee leave for COVID-19, not to exceed $2,245.63. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that is unanimous. And let me just do a quick scan through here. It looks as if we are now at item 11. It is 8:29 PM and we are adjourned. And thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Oh, it's over.